Hi Guy, welcome back TV Spoilers. Young and the Restless reveal that Jill Abbott's unexpected return to Genoa City sent ripples through the quiet calm of the Abbott household. Her health had deteriorated significantly. A sudden and alarming decline in her cardiovascular health that had led her to face her mortality in ways she never had before. With her heart beating erratically and her energy waning, Jill realized time was a luxury she no longer possessed. But it wasn't just the state of her health that brought her back to the city she had tried to leave behind. She carried with her a pressing secretone that needed to be addressed urgently, before it was too late. Her first stop was the Abbott mansion, where she found Billy sitting by the fireplace, lost in thought. He had become a different man since their last encounter. No longer the reckless troublemaker she remembered from his youth, but still grappling with personal demons. As Jill entered the room, Billy looked up, his expression unreadable. "Mom," he said quietly, rising to his feet. "What's going on? Why are you back?" Jill's face was pale, her lips thin with pain. She could feel the weight of the moment pressing against her chest. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward, the determination in her eyes clear. "Billy, I need you to listen to me," she began, her voice trembling but firm. "I don't know how much time I have left, and there's something I need you to do before it's too late. I want you to become a better man, for your own sake and for those who love you. I need you to take responsibility for your life before I'm gone." Billy paused, skepticism flickering across his features. His first instinct was to dismiss his mother's plea, thinking it to be another one of her manipulative schemes, a last-ditch effort to control him as she had done so many times in the past. But as he looked into her eyes, he saw something he had never seen before: weakness, vulnerability, and the terrifying reality of a mother who knew her time was running out. "You've never been one for ultimatums, Mom," Billy said with a wry smile. "What's this really about? What's going on?" Jill's eyes welled up, the tears she had been holding back now spilling freely. "I'm sick, Billy," she confessed, her voice breaking. "I don't have much time left. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you happy. Please, for me, change the course of your life. I've failed you in the past, but I want to make things right with you before I go." Billy's skepticism softened as he took in the raw emotion in his mother's voice. For the first time, he felt the weight of her words. The woman who had always been a pillar of strength was now broken, standing before him as a mother who feared she wouldn't live long enough to witness her son's redemption. Billy found himself at a loss for words, the tumult of emotions within him making it hard to breathe. "I'll think about it," he finally said, his voice quieter, more reflective than before. Jill nodded, grateful for his willingness to listen, even if just for a moment. But the real weight of her plan wasn't on Billy, it was on the woman she had been determined to bring into the fold. The next day, Jill sought out Sally Spectra, a woman she had never quite understood but had come to respect in recent months. Sally had been a part of Billy's life for some time now, and despite their complicated history, Jill knew Sally's heart was in the right place. Jill made her way to the design office where Sally was busy working on her latest collection. "Sally," Jill began, standing in the doorway. "We need to talk." Sally looked up from her desk, momentarily surprised by the unexpected visit. "Jill," she said, her tone wary but polite. "What brings you here?" Jill stepped inside, her gaze steely but filled with a quiet resolve. "I need you to hear me out. Billy needs you, Sally. He needs someone who can help him find his way, someone who understands him better than anyone else. And I know you love him as a part of your heart, even if things are complicated right now. I'm not asking you to forgive him for the mistakes he's made, but I am asking you to help him change." Sally listened intently, her mind racing as she processed Jill's words. She had always been conflicted about Billy, torn between her feelings for him and the frustration of his reckless behavior. But Jill was right, Billy had potential, a chance at redemption, if only he could take the first step. "What are you asking me to do?" Sally asked, her voice low. Jill walked closer, her voice barely above a whisper. "Help him see what I see in him. Help him become the man I know he can be. I know things between you two are complicated, but this isn't about you, it's about Billy's future. Help him realize what's at stake. You're the one person he listens to when no one else can reach him." Sally stood there for a long moment, considering Jill's plea. It wasn't an easy decision. Billy had hurt her, disappointed her, and yet, Sally couldn't deny the depth of her feelings for him. Maybe this was the opportunity they both needed, an opportunity to rebuild, not just for Billy, but for herself as well. "I'll do it," Sally said finally, her voice firm. "I'll help him. But he's going to have to meet me halfway." I won't waste my time if he's not ready to change. Jill nodded, a small smile of relief crossing her face. Thank you, Sally. I know this won't be easy, but Billy needs you now more than ever. He's standing at a crossroads and he needs someone to help him see the path forward. As Jill left Sally's office, she felt a weight lifting off her shoulders. She had done what she could to guide Billy in the right direction. Now, it was up to him to take the first step. Meanwhile, Billy was grappling with the conversation he had had with his mother. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had been handed an opportunity to change. But the weight of his past mistakes felt heavy, suffocating. He had spent so much of his life running from responsibility, from the consequences of his actions, that the thought of facing them now seemed impossible. But the truth was undeniable. Jill's words had planted a seed in his mind, one that had begun to grow. For the first time in years, Billy felt a flicker of hope. Maybe he could be better. Maybe he could be the man his mother wanted him to be before it was too late. In the days that followed, Billy's internal struggle deepened. He wanted to be the man Jill believed he could be, but the fear of failure, of letting down those who cared about him, held him back. As he navigated his emotions, he found himself seeking solace in the one person who might be able to help him make sense of it. Ultimately, their relationship had always been a roller coaster of passion, frustration, and love. But now, it was different. Now, it was about something more than just them. It was about redemption, about change, about the future. As Billy faced his darkest fears and his deepest regrets, he realized that the only way forward was to confront his past and take responsibility for the choices he had made. And with Sally's help, he just might be able to do it. But the road to redemption was never easy, and Billy knew that the battles he faced would be far from over. What he didn't realize, however, was that the support of those who cared about him, including his mother and Sally, would make all the difference in his quest to become the man he was meant to be. And in that moment, Billy finally understood what his mother had been trying to tell him all along. It was never too late to change. Mariah could hear his desperate sobs from the other room, his voice rising in panic as he repeatedly called out for his parents. Mom, Dad, where are you? The words were like daggers, each one a reminder of the love he still had for the parents who had, without warning, vanished from his life. Mariah rushed to his side, her heart tightening with each anguished cry. She knew this moment would come. The fear, the confusion, she had anticipated it all. But nothing could prepare her for the weight of his pain. As she reached his side, she knelt down, pulling him into her arms, trying desperately to calm him. Dominic, sweetheart, she whispered, her voice trembling. It's okay. Everything is going to be okay. You're with me now. But Dominic didn't seem to hear her. His little body shook with emotion as he continued to sob uncontrollably. Where's Dad? Where's Mom? I want to go home. His words pierced her heart like a sharp knife, and for a brief moment, Mariah found herself paralyzed by the overwhelming guilt that consumed her. This wasn't supposed to be how it ended. She wasn't supposed to be the one to tear a family apart. But deep down, she knew she couldn't turn back now. She had made her choice. She wiped the tears from Dominic's face, trying to force a reassuring smile, but inside, she was anything but calm. Dominic, she said softly, your mom and dad, they've been very busy with something important, and they've decided to have another baby. So now, you're going to stay with me. It's just you and me now, okay? Dominic's eyes widened, confusion clouding his young features. A new baby, he repeated, his voice shaky. But I don't want a new baby. I want my mom and dad. Mariah's chest tightened. Every word he spoke felt like a weight pressing down on her. How could she do this to him? How could she be the one to lie to him, to make him believe in something that wasn't true? But she had no choice. She had already gone too far. You'll see them again soon, sweetie, Mariah added, trying to sound convincing, even though her own words felt hollow. They just need some time to adjust. But for now, I'll take care of you. You're safe here with me. Dominic didn't seem reassured. He struggled against her embrace, still crying, his small hands pushing at her chest. I want to see my mommy and daddy. I want them now. Where are they? His voice was rising in pitch, more frantic now. Mariah's guilt gnawed at her insides as she held him tighter, wishing more than anything that she could turn back time and undo the chaos she had caused. She knew she was only making it worse for him. But Ian's words echoed in her mind, words that she had heard over and over again. Words that had become a twisted mantra in her head. Keep him with you, Ian had told her, his voice low and filled with that sickening manipulation. You're doing the right thing, Mariah. You're protecting him. They'll never understand what's best for him, but you will. You've always been the one to look out for him. You can't let them take him back. Not now, not ever. The memory of Ian's haunting voice seemed to invade her thoughts like a dark cloud, pushing her resolve further. She had always trusted Ian, always believed in his guidance. And now, as Dominic's cries continued to pierce her heart, she couldn't help but wonder if he was right. Was she doing the right thing? Was she really protecting Dominic by keeping him from his parents? Or was she simply perpetuating a lie that would destroy them all? Just as she was about to pull Dominic into another tight hug, a flicker of movement caught her eye, a shadow in the corner of the room. The air grew colder, and for a brief moment, Mariah thought she saw Ian's distorted figure standing before her. His presence was no longer a mere memory, it was as though he was right there in the room, watching her every move. "Don't second-guess yourself, Mariah," Ian's voice whispered in her ear. "You're doing exactly what needs to be done. They don't understand. But you do." Mariah froze, her heart racing as she looked around, trying to shake the feeling of his presence. But there was no one there. Just the empty space, the dark shadows, and the weight of Dominic's cries. "Everything will be fine," she muttered under her breath, her hands trembling as she continued to hold him. "Everything will be fine." Meanwhile, back at Abby and Devin's home, chaos had erupted. The moment they realized Dominic was missing, panic set in. Abby's heart pounded in her chest as she ran through the house, searching every room, her mind racing with fear and disbelief. "Where is he? Where's my baby?" she cried out, her voice trembling with desperation. Devin was right beside her, his face pale, his eyes wide with terror. "He has to be here somewhere, Abby," he said, his voice strained. "He couldn't have just disappeared. He's gotta be here." But no matter where they looked, Dominic was nowhere to be found. Their frantic searching turned into a hopeless search for answers, with every call to the police only deepening their sense of dread. Hours passed, and still, there was no sign of their son. Abby's phone rang, breaking the silence of their search. She grabbed it immediately, her fingers trembling as she answered. "Hello." The voice on the other end was distorted, almost mechanical, but Abby immediately recognized it. "Abby, Devin," the voice sneered, "you're never going to see Dominic again. Your precious Mariah has him now. She's the one who took him." Abby's heart dropped into her stomach as the weight of the words sank in. Mariah. Mariah had taken their son. The realization hit her like a ton of bricks, and for a moment, she couldn't breathe. What do you mean?" Devin's voice was low, almost a whisper, as if he were trying to process the unbelievable truth. "What are you talking about?" "She's protecting him from you," the voice continued, almost taunting them. "She's doing what's best for him. And you'll never get him back." The line went dead. Abby dropped to her knees, her hands shaking as the world around her seemed to collapse. No, this can't be happening," she whispered, her voice cracking. "It's not possible." Devin stood frozen in place, his eyes wide with disbelief. "Mariah, why? Why would she do this?" Neither of them had an answer, and neither of them could comprehend the depth of the betrayal they were facing. Their son, their beautiful boy, was gone. And the woman they had trusted, the woman who had once been part of their family, was the one responsible? Back in the darkened room, Mariah clutched Dominic tighter, her eyes wide as she listened to the sound of his continued sobs. She truly believed that she was protecting him, that by keeping him with her, she was sparing him from the heartbreak and instability that his parents could not provide. But deep down, the realization was starting to set in, was only feeding into the darkness that Ian had planted. In her mind, she was lost, and she had lost Dominic too. "I'm sorry," she whispered to him, though her words barely reached her own ears. "I'm so sorry." But in that moment, she wasn't sure anymore if she was apologizing to Dominic, to herself, or to the people she had betrayed. Dominic's cries echoed in her ears as she rocked him back and forth, his words a constant reminder of the truth she could no longer ignore. She had taken something precious from them all, and now she didn't know how to get it back. As the night dragged on, the silence in the room felt suffocating. Mariah was left alone in the darkness with Dominic, the weight of her choices crashing down on her. She had no way out, no way to undo what she had done. She could only hold on, hoping that in the end, she would find a way to make it right. But she knew, deep in her heart, that the damage had already been done. And for the first time, Mariah wasn't sure if there was a way back. On our TV Spoilers channel, I always seek content inspiration for each video by compiling short video clips to analyze and offer my personal opinions. This channel specializes in analyzing, theorizing, and discussing plot points in the Young and the Restless series from the perspective of a longtime fan. Through this, viewers can gain deeper, more objective, and more interesting perspectives. Subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the latest news about the Young and the Restless series.